Are you a bond slave? I was recently studying in Romans chapter 1. It said, Paul, a servant of Jesus Christ, called to be an apostle, separated unto the gospel of God. And when it says that word servant, it actually means bond slave. And in Bible times, when you were a bond slave, people gave after they had been slaves for so long, they were granted their freedom. But in Exodus 21:5 and 6, it says, And if the servant shall plainly say, I love my master, my wife, and my children, I will not go out free. Then his master shall bring him unto the judges. He shall also bring him to the door or unto the doorpost, and his master shall bore his ear, not his head, bore his ear through with an awl, and he shall serve him forever. So what happened is he said, I don't want to leave my master. And so he put something through his ear, and that proved that he was a bond slave. Now, thought a lot about what's a bond slave. And I want us all to realize we are all slaves to something. You know, some of us, and I know people like that, are slaves to alcohol. Some are slaves to drugs. I know some people are slaves to pornography. I know people who are slaves to their own selfishness and wanting what they can get. I know some people are slaves to shopping. Sorry to put that in there on you ladies. But anyway, but when I first surrendered to serve God, I thought I had to be a missionary. I had to be a nurse, so I enrolled in nursing school. Then God showed me I didn't have to go to a public college to be a nurse, to be a missionary, so I went to a Christian college. Then he showed me that I needed to go to a different Christian college. And then when I got up there, I was majoring in missions, and then some people told me, if you're going to be in missions, you better take elementary education. So I changed to elementary education, and then I got my degree in elementary education, and God's will for me just kept changing. And when I think of a bond slave, I think this is what he means. It's not his will instead of my will. It means his will is now my will. Isn't that interesting? It's not his way instead of my way. It's his will becomes my will. And that's what I think in my journey to do God's will, what I kept doing. I kept changing because I felt like that's what God would have me to do. Even though sometimes God used men to change my way of thinking, because I changed from going to a public college because of Dr. Wendell Evans's message about Satan's you. And anyway, so are you a bond slave? Have you dedicated your life to God and are you willing to serve him with all your heart? Well, then that means that his will is now your will. It doesn't mean you're giving up anything. You know, some people say, I surrender all. And then when they surrender, they think they got to give up this and this and this and this. Well, somehow when you really, truly surrender, your will is surrendered to his. And you just are willing to do it. And it's part of who you want to do. Like we're traveling in evangelism. I've joked a lot to people and said, you know, if I'd known Kevin was going to be an evangelist, I wouldn't have married him. I've said that several times. But really and truly, I enjoy what we're doing. I enjoy today. We're going to have a big day, and Champ and Dixie are going to perform, and that's our horse, our miniature horse, and our trick dog. And people are going to come forward, and they're going to get saved, and I'm going to enjoy that. And you know how I'm going to enjoy it? Because it's God's will for my life, and I want to enjoy God's will, and you should want to enjoy God's will. Are you a bond slave? Are you at the point where your will is his will? That's what I'm asking you today, and I hope it'll challenge you to question yourself and to be happy where you're at and doing what you're doing because it's God's will for your life. Rejoice in the Lord always, and again I say rejoice.